Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube, where we've got the TNT takes for you on Survivor Season 45, Episode 9. This is the recap. My name is Kahuna, and I'm joined by my man himself, the lad Jake. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Kahuna. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. People are getting a bit of the varsity squad today with Kahuna as the host because Chris is having a weekend away. He's got a trip planned. I don't know I can't remember if it's work or just to recharge his batteries that everyone needs every now and then. It's good timing because even though it's not for him, it has been holidays in the States. How was your Thanksgiving, Chris? Jake, sorry.
Wow, revealing your true intentions.
No,
Thanksgiving was great. Got to see family from out of town. It was really nice.
Avoid Survivor politics talks at the dinner table.
Of course,
always.
always.
We want to send a shout out to everyone that is watching live. Thank you for joining us in the chat. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving in the States as well, that your enemies were crushed beneath your heels as you grabbed that TV from a single mother, just ripped it out of their hands at the Black Friday sales. That is today, I believe. Is that right? I'm in the future. So it's
Today
Saturday
is Black
morning.
Friday. Yeah, today's Black Friday in America. Yeah.
And Jake is restraining the urge of consumerism and just grabbing.
So, if it weren't for this, I'd be trampling over some old woman at Walmart right now.
For the longest time, the concept of Black Friday was not a thing that existed in Australia. We don't have Thanksgiving. We therefore do not have the following day after Thanksgiving. But we are so Americanized and so global with the internet and everything. The world is so much smaller. We have a whole ton of Black Friday sales in Australia now as well in recent years. So that's America's influence on Australia, which, when it comes to good prices, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But we want to
Cyber Monday, at least. Yeah.
Oh, Cyber, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll get that too. Shout out to the chat, of course. People joining us. Thank you, Danica. As always, driving. I'm okay with that. Just don't comment on chat while driving.
She says later that she's just parked right now. She's not actually in the process of driving.
That's good. That's good to hear. Chris, welcome. I better not hear any praise about losing the votes from the three of y'all. Only the two of us.
To the right place.
But I think you'll be safe in that regard. Kiwi skirt. And there's another one of our other Survivor hosts on the TNT channel, Tom Mack. He's a Survivor UK host. Amazing race. And he said, also, praise the Lord, my least favorite Survivor player in history. Oh, okay. There's a spicy take. Interesting. Least favorite in history.
That's pretty crazy.
People questioning. Where did it go? This one. Sorry. Yeah, harsh. I don't know. That's a bit weird.
How many players have been on? There's been 45 seasons.
45 seasons.
At least 16 people on every season.
At least 16, yeah.
And Kendra is the least favorite. Hey, I mean, to each their own. We'll get into it.
I mean, over the course of that time, I'm sure there's been racists. There's been bigots. There's been some bad people on the show.
There have, but Kendra, she was annoying.
I mean, it's the faces. It's the face.
Yeah, She acted like a cat a few times.
And then look at this comment. Jake constantly getting disrespected on this podcast.
It's just par for the course. I'm used to it.
Respect. I don't have. I respect Jake so much so that I feel like Jake should be doing the whoa. That's the Jake. I mean, sorry. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Whoa.
Nunez, welcome. Thank you. Here, Tom backing out. He has the spicy takes. Tom is known for that. Yes, I've never been so annoyed by Human War, but he loved Beck and Kate on The Amazing Race, which is fascinating. Fascinating take from him. I couldn't live on an island with her. I mean, you don't have to, mate. You're just watching it on TV. Just relax. Relax. And you were right. You called it, Jake. Danica said, I'm parked waiting for my daughter. Sarah, welcome to the live. You made it. Good job. And then Danica says, do you have a Thanksgiving type holiday? Well, I guess if I was to be controversial, because, you know, I'm Australian, we do have our version of colonizing and taking over of an entire country and indigenous population, which is what we call Australia Day. Or if you're in Australia, I think it's pronounced Australia Day, which is in January. That is, I guess, similar. We don't do turkey and cranberry sauce and stuffing and stuff. I think turkey is probably the worst meat in existence as far as turkey is the Kendra of meats.
Turkey is the Kendra of meats. I don't think I've heard anybody ever say that.
Although I don't feel that way about Kendra. It's one of those things where, like, to me, turkey is bad. It's not bad. Like, it's kind of like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. It's still nice. It's still sustenance and still food. But on the ranking scale, if we did a tier list, turkey's at the bottom. It's not as flavorful. It can be very dry. It's so easy to stuff up. I'm not a fan. How are your turkey bona fides, Jake?
You know, I think I am lucky because my mom always makes the turkey every year and she's very good at it and it's always nice and juicy. So I don't have to deal with but I understand that it's very often dry and gross. So I get it. But for me, I don't have to deal with that.
Kiwi Skirt agrees, although the word Kiwi probably takes away from your ability to comment. Just like myself, the Americans seem to
like
have
kiwi.
it as a thing. Yeah, Kiwi Skirt. I think from NZ. Is she Kiwi? I'm assuming. I've always assumed. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Sarah agrees. Turkey is the Kendra of meat. Oh no, she at least liked the comment. No comment on whether they agree or not. Fiery Tiger Wolf, welcome. Hey everyone. Yeah. See, agreed. Here it comes, Chris. Always, turkey's good. You just don't know how to cook it. Probably. I'm assuming maybe like the deep fried steaks that deep fried turkeys that like end up causing massive fires and
that burn people's
death
houses
and destruction.
down. Yeah,
they probably taste really good, but is the juice really worth the squeeze? You know what I mean? Or the
Probably
squeeze
not.
really worth the
Like
juice?
they've been like sending out warnings to people like, please don't try to deep fry your turkey because people just don't know how to do it, and it's just freaking cause destruction.
Danica said that they cook steak and pork chops. That's my that would be my time of Thanksgiving. That sounds so much better than turkey. Oh no! Have you tried turkey fried? Look, we're getting Thanksgiving suggestions. It's going to be a whole cooking show.
Peanut oil
Survivor.
specifically.
You know why I think it's important that we are talking about such an important, informative topic such as turkey cooking? And I'm going to relate it back. This is how good of a host I can be when I'm in my peak form, Jake, is that there's a segue here. And I'm going to bring it up later. But I think that it's important. And I found the contrast really interesting that when it's specifically the day before Thanksgiving, traditionally known as, or colloquially known as Turkey Day to many people around the world, they have a sanctuary on this with the worst looking chicken reward challenge. I'm like, they aired this episode the day before people are going to be tucking in to a feast of poultry
Hmm.
with all the sides, with all the things, probably with utensils, right? I'm assuming many people use a knife and fork of some sort. And then we had a challenge,
Yeah.
a sanctuary reward on Survivor where we see a little dilapidated, crappy cousin of a turkey as far as size goes, just looking not that great. Which there's my segue. So that's why we can talk about turkeys and still keep it Survivor themed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the chicken.
Georgette
Just
speaking
weird.
highly of Canada's turkey, and yeah, there.
Did not know that
Confirmed.
Canada was known for its turkey. Didn't know that.
Yeah, but you don't have to be known for it to be able to do it better than some places that might be known for it. I guess I don't know.
That's true.
Uh, there you go, Dolores. Welcome, Dolores. Said turkey for me is fine. I take it, but give me desserts like cheesecake and chai latte tea. Oh, is that a big Thanksgiving tradition? You know, the dudes with the pilgrims with the buckle shoes had a lot of chai latte.
Yeah, I don't think so, but everybody has their own little dessert.
Traditions, which makes it good,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
give thanks for that. See that?
yeah. Exactly.
Uh, Turkey's good for sandwiches. Normally do ham. I agree. Ham is superior. Caswash, welcome. So yeah, people, everyone loves turkey. Everyone loves Thanksgiving. I'm glad you all had a good time. I do hear it's very good. Yeah, Dolores, tell them to be
I don't
careful.
doubt it. I don't doubt it. Yeah.
Thomas, it's because dead birds are still more interesting than Kendra.
Wow.
Tom, you got to join us for the lives. You got the takes, the spicy hot takes that everyone needs in the comments, man, in the chat. I appreciate it. And then Danica says, apart from the steaks and pork chops for Thanksgiving, they do barbecue for Christmas. That sounds more Aussie, but our barbecue is not like American barbecue. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, Chris. What happened to all the fixins? Just chicken, no sides? Yeah, I don't know
Pathetic.
what they're doing to them, eh?
Pathetic.
What's Dolores? Oh, okay. There's a bit of a tease. What is Dolores doing on Christmas? We're
Do
gonna
you,
find out. I'm sure we'll have more episodes coming up closer to Christmas. So we get on the Nullified Take. It's about Survivor, but we get Thanksgiving, we get Christmas, we get to hear everything from the community, and that's I love that.
yeah.
There you go. Tom said I'd love to join you. Ah, and then you said Italian Americans do lasagna before the turkey. I mean, if you're having lasagna, what's the point of the turkey at that point, right? Lasagna is so much
Those two
delicious.
just well also true, but also those two just don't mix
I
when you're
know. So
having
you have the
both.
lasagna and go, you know
Yeah.
what? Turkey's just not up
Why
to
don't you
snuff,
just
right?
forget about the turkey. Yeah.
um, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you had a great time and I hope it was, relaxing and you got a bit of a break. Watching Survivor leading into the holidays, it's a great combination. We get to start episode 9. We got 9 people left, and we start with the fallout back in camp after Tribal Council with the surprise vote out of Kelly, at least to her, at least to Bruce and Kendra and the former Bello. And we see Kendra very upset about Kelly's blindside. We see the sort of, Bruce kind of upset that his best friend, his closest ally, is gone from the game. What did you think of the way they reacted to the Kelly blindside here?
I was pretty shocked, honestly, that Kendra was so upset. I didn't realize that they were that close. I knew I think we all knew that they were aligned, but um, yeah, just seeing, wow, Tom. I mean, come on, wow. I thought
She
that would
pulled.
bring you joy. I thought that would bring you joy. I thought that'd be your favorite part of the episode, besides her getting snuffed.
Man. Oh, man.
But
Yeah, we see Kendra pouring 40 out for a homie, which
yeah,
I like seeing the relationships that are
mhm,
formed. Like, You don't
Yeah.
want to see someone just go, eh, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It was nice to see, some actual emotion. And especially later on at Tribal, you can see Kelly was seemed like she was like holding back some
Mm.
emotion when Kendra was rehashing that to Jeff. Um, so yeah, pretty cool to see that sort of tight bond.
And
But my favorite part of the whole Kendra confessional was Jake laughing maniacally in the background. And I think if you had subtitles on it, it would say Jake laughing. I just thought that was really funny. Um,
Jake sometimes really doesn't have like we made passing comment before about the
yeah.
whoa, like this the self like awareness of how he may come across to other people, which he hasn't really copped anything for, right? Being the loud Boston guy, whereas Mr. Roboto Domo Arigato Bruce, he does stuff like that and he's annoying everyone to the point where they come to Bruce, or Drew comes to Bruce and goes, "Hey, man, Kelly was actually the one gunning for you, right?"
Mhm.
And Bruce at this point realizes, we see the humanity in Bruce, not the robot. He actually puts the arms down for a second and realizes, how am I perceived here? And we get to see like a real, not the robot, but the man, the person. What did you think of this sort of epiphany for Bruce here?
Honestly, it was like really like heartbreaking to listen to. Like this man was questioning his own relationship with his daughter. Like
Oh.
like it's like actually like really sad, like he was like extrapolating it that much, like being like if like really really introspecting in himself, being like, am I really that way? If I'm that way here, am I that way at home? Does my family like hate me? It was really sad, really sad.
Yeah, and but you know what it does say to me as a father of a daughter? I think it means that he's probably a great dad because most fathers would know where they stand with their daughters in the opposite regard. I'm like, everyone else in the world thinks I'm cool. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying it. But I'm telling myself that, hyping myself up. But your daughter will tell you you're not, like to your face. Like you do something like a robot dance, which makes everyone laugh, apparently, except for Katura and some. Well, it makes Jake laugh. Jake laughs at anything Bruce does,
Yeah,
right? It makes Jake laugh, but at home, his kids are rolling their eyes at some of Uncle Bruce's dance
but
move
that's
kind
just
of
what
thing.
you do with your dad,
That's what I'm saying. Like he
Yeah.
would, yeah, he would know that for sure. Where that he's not the funny cool guy, but he's dad, and they love him. I think he should be reassured in that. You know what made me really sad about this little epiphany from Bruce and
Mm.
how he realized, like, how am I coming across if Kelly feels so under my thumb and they're all and being annoyed by this. Um, I just thought of Bruce today, like sitting at home watching the season. Katura so focused on him. Seeing Kelly's confessionals, even Kendra upset about Kelly's like, oh great, now I'm here with Bruce. Like, even Kendra saying as well, like that Bruce is hard to work with. And he not only did he have that moment of realization out on the island, he's now had to have it solidified in 4K every single week and just reinforced. Like I was like, oh, that's the hard part. You don't know what people's perceptions of you are, and then to be shown for the whole world to see, especially, you know what I mean? Like that, I was like, oh, I wonder how he's taking that. I hope he's okay.
I know. That's the hardest part about being on Survivor is, we all anyone who's dreamed about being on the show dreams about watching it back yourself, beasting out a challenge or pulling off a crazy move or winning the whole thing. No one thinks about, you know, having to watch back people just tear you apart and just call you overbearing and a terrible ally and just hard to work with and overbearing. I mean, or like, seeing them so upset that you're winning immunity, like
Yeah,
that's, and as Bruce kind of goes on to say it at tribal council, like he's like, I want to see people cheering for me, and happy that I win, but that's not what's happening. um, that's got to be really hard to do, to watch that back with, especially with your family, because you know as
yeah.
Bruce is saying, he's like extrapolating and wondering, if they feel the same way.
I
hopefully
have
he
to
got
imagine that. Yeah, I have to imagine he
Hopefully
got a
he
big
got.
hug.
Yes, I was just about to say.
Yeah,
Hopefully he got lots of hugs and words of, lovely words from his family after that episode.
very Bruce heavy episode. He had a good episode for sure. Um, yeah, we don't have points today for the draft. Unfortunately, we didn't get that from Chris before he left for his trip. But I'm just feeling like, if I'm doing the maths in my head mentally, Bruce had a really strong episode. I've now lost Kelly and Kendra back to back. I'm worried about where these scores are going
Yeah,
for Chris.
yeah. If I had to guess, Chris is probably pulling out ahead and first.
Mm,
You're probably a little bit more behind than you were before, and then I'm still just in the dust. Even though I'm not
yeah,
losing anybody, but Emily lost her vote and Jake still received a vote and didn't win anything, So what did I really gain?
yeah.
I don't got
Well,
really
yeah,
nothing.
like you said, I don't think you're really in the conversation at this point, right?
No, I think I'm out. Even if these two, like, they would have to, like, somebody would have to find an idol, make a crazy play or something, or
Yeah,
like Emily winner, Jake runner up? Question mark. That
it's a
probably wouldn't even
possibility.
that probably
Possibility.
wouldn't even get me the win.
Well, we do see in the game, as far as who might win, Emily playing into that. They're starting to see these different from, obviously Kendra coming off of Kelly going out. She wants revenge. She's sort of targeting D as a major threat, which I think is smart, very smart. Katura kind of finds herself in a really pivotal position. She says she can see the writing on the wall, and is sort of happy to maybe start talking with Reba, and goes, "Look, I know that I would be fifth in that alliance, but maybe fifth is better than where I am at the moment." Emily, opposite end of the spectrum there, wants to see where she is on that actual spectrum. There's growing concern about Dee's power, Dee's relationship with Austin, closeness. There's tensions there. Julie not necessarily getting what she wants. So could there be cracks starting to form? And Emily wants to find out, which I think is actually pretty smart of her. And Katura, as I said, she's like, I'll go fifth on Reba, and then we'll figure it out later. There's still time and moves to make, but I'm sort of dropping in that, maybe I can go with Reba. Emily thinks that it's her with Drew and Austin, and she floats the idea of maybe D as well, putting it out to the two. And she finds out quickly, doesn't she? Like, it's like, am I third? And immediately the answer becomes no, you're not. Like, they're not willing to put D under the bus for Emily, which is pretty enlightening for her, I hope, or I think. What do you reckon?
I reckon it is, and I reckon that Julie as well. We haven't really talked about that, but her bringing up, she kind of wants Jake instead, and
Mm,
feels that that might be the better option than Kendra, and they shoot that down immediately. They don't even really give it a thought. And same with Emily, with
yeah,
I believe Emily also brings up Jake as an option, and they sort of are like, because all D has to do is say, well,
Kendra.
Kendra threw out my name, so I want her
Yeah.
gone, and they just go along with it. Which if you're in Drew and Austin's position, I understand that's hard, because D is truly your closest ally, and you want to appease her as much as possible. And if she wants Kendra gone, then hey, let's have it be Kendra. But yeah, it's not a good look to Julie and
Oh,
to Emily as well.
no, and the way they kind of Is the Austin protecting D thing an alliance thing, or is there a little bit of a showman? Because I feel
It's
like
got
they're
to be a
trying
mix.
to push it, right? They're trying to like edit that there's maybe something there.
Yeah,
He's like, I enjoy talking to her. I'd like spending time with her. Not just,
yeah,
she's a really strong alliance member, but we haven't actually seen anything play out except for those confessionals from Austin, right?
yeah.
Am I
We
missing it?
haven't. It honestly, I could be, this could be wrong, but to me it seems more one sided. Seems like Austin is much more into her than she is into him. We haven't really seen her
Did he say
explicitly
anything, right?
say, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
we see
I saw
her
those
like,
toes. I completely get it from Austin's side, right?
gosh, Kahuna. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
By the way,
but
I saw a post from her which I thought was funny. Her Halloween costume
yeah.
was just a giant foot, and she said people wanted feet pics. So she wore a giant foot costume. I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. That that came into what was the challenge that she ended up doing really well in because of it?
I
Was
think
there?
it was the one they were holding onto the pole, right?
Yes.
She wedged
That's so
her
funny that
toes like
actually,
extra hands. It was just like
yes.
extra
And
grip
she won.
that she
She
can.
won.
Yeah.
So funny that actually came into fruition from
Yeah, I
her.
mean Austin Caesar, he knows. um, yeah, so I feel like that bit with Emily sort of testing the water and seeing where she does stand against D with
Definitely
Austin and Drew.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's setting something there, right? Like they
I
put
think
it in
so.
there and it feels like that may be a thing. Um, I didn't start out the episode. I should have maybe said we've had a very, very strong season. Really great episodes leading up to this point. I do feel like this was maybe the dip a little bit, which where always comes. It's never perfect. What did you think of? Unfortunately, final 9, which is where some real fireworks can potentially happen. We're seeing that set up to this point, right? With Emily sussing out where she stands. We've got 4 Bella, we've got 4 Reba, we've got Emily in the middle potentially, and seeing maybe Reba's not going that way. There's a chance here, and then we get Tree Mail come and say we're breaking up the tribes into 3 again. 3 groups of 3 for the thing, and we see producers putting their hand on the scale again, wanting to maybe, and I guess we should wait till the end, but I just wanted to say I feel like producers wanting to make things exciting, make things twisty, make things all that sort of thing, end up kind of making it the most straightforward vote of the season,
Mhm.
which potentially could have had a lot of fireworks and some real different sort of, permutations, but by making it a twist, we kind of end up with the opposite, which is really disappointing for, there was some stuff set up that could have been a thing and they kind of just fizzled it out. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, I think that this could have gone much worse than it did. Um, I mean, if Austin would have lost his vote, it could have gone to rocks for
Gone
all
to
we
rocks,
knew.
yeah.
But luckily for the Reba 4, they were actually able to convince Bruce and Jake to vote with them against Kendra,
Yeah.
to take out one of their own.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. So we get Tree Mail, it breaks them up. It says make 3 teams of 3, essentially. Austin, Katura, Emily, D, Drew, Jake, um, Julie, Bruce, and Kendra. We come to a challenge which is your again, I'm just, I don't know why I'm getting jaded, I'm getting cynical, whatever it is, but every single challenge ends up looking and feeling very, very similar to prior weeks, right? We had the various obstacle courses, we had a digging, we had like it's the same. Like it's the same a lot over and over again. And I know they can't necessarily do the physical, like we used to get ones where they would tackle each other in the, do all these different things in the mud, and now it's just very everything is non-contact. Everything is very similar. Everything kind of plays out the same look, the same vibe, the same feel, week to week. Not even season to season, week to week sometimes now. But the difference is they're like, maybe if we keep it generic, we'll throw the twists in. That's what makes it interesting, right? We'll break the groups up, and Jeff drops a bomb here, which we touched on, that the team that comes in or gets eliminated first, all three of them potentially losing their vote. So we are down to 9 people in this game. 9. And they want to take away votes from a third of them. Again, keeping with the 6 people tribals. Like, potentially, like, the way it plays out, it ends up like, what is with the 6? Like, is this like some Illuminati conspiracy theory?
Six six
Like,
six.
yeah, it's always
They're
sixes, right?
they're just
Three teams of 6.
they're not even trying to hide it at this point. I mean, they're evil knows no
Jeff is on
bounds.
the all seeing eye for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's it. We cracked the code. I mean,
There,
there it
that's
is.
it. I've done it. We figured it out. Jeff is Illuminati for sure. How else
But
do you explain it?
but talking seriously, I really don't know the answer of why they feel the need to do this. I mean, like you said, yeah, is maybe it's not necessarily this evil conspiracy, but maybe they do just have some sort of fetish for the number 6 and 6-person tribals.
Yeah.
But man, because yeah, they did this at 12. They split them up into 6. Two groups of 6.
It's always 6. And I don't, like I said last week, maybe they do it for convenience as far as in a tribal, in things like that. It's just easier to contain and edit and have, a more
Yes.
thing. I don't know, like if it's from
But
a
they
TV
still, I mean,
perspective, but man,
even Emily, who went on to lose her vote, she was still in the episode. They
yeah,
didn't just
yeah.
edit her out. So it's just game interference. They just want to try to steer it the way that they want to steer it. But I don't even know if I don't know what their intention was, if they were trying to make a certain outcome happen, but I don't think it did.
No,
I
because
don't know.
what we end up with is Austin, Emily, Katura going out first, so they potentially lose their vote. We
Yep.
get D, Drew, and Jake in the purgatory middle ground. They go back to camp. No good, no bad will come to them. They're just there.
Except for Jake, who they gets this
we'll talk
rice.
about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. That's great. And then Julie, Bruce, and Kendra end up winning. Bruce wins his second back-to-back individual immunity, kind of like it's not like
Like
they
a
don't even.
hybrid.
Yeah, they're not even doing like individual immunities anymore. It's team-based stuff, and he only had to beat Julie and Kendra. Kendra, like, that challenge did look difficult, but Kendra, like, did I? You know what? I got the, like, when she was doing that and looked all. It was either. I may offend people with this comparison, but to me, I got Jim Morrison from The Doors. Come on, baby, light my fire vibe, like, or Jesus on a cross, because she was like, even Jeff was like shouting, like, Kendra, body distorted. Like, it looked pretty
Yeah.
hard. But why not have everyone do that? Why not have Austin see if he can beat Bruce in that? You know what I mean? Like, why did we have to? Why?
Yeah,
It's an individual game now. We
and
had the
it's
team portion.
yeah, it's funny because Drew talks about his strategy for splitting the tribe into 3, and he says, let's do one strong man, one strong woman, one weak woman, or one weak person. Doesn't have to be a woman. So yeah, it was, and I look at that and I'm like, was Kendra supposed to be the weak or the strong woman in that? Was it supposed to be Bruce and Kendra?
Yeah, when Julie has shown last week, even
Exactly. Yeah, because we got
maybe
a rematch.
it's the other way around. Maybe Julie's a strong woman. That's why they could put her by herself as far as Reba goes. But do you think that sends a message to Julie saying, "Oh, okay, I see. I am 5th in, like,
Well,
you're
yeah,
happy
because
to put me in danger."
we did, they didn't have to show us all of that like skepticism from Julie of like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm worried about my group, if this comes to like a tribal or something, I'm gone because the idol. Um, that I think that was put in there purposefully as
Mm.
sort of another bit of foreshadowing that she's just sort of skeptical of this whole Reba alliance.
We see at the end here after Bruce wins, obviously Kendra and Julia are going to the sanctuary. We see Kendra's reaction was interesting to me because she was like, "Oh, thanks, Jeff. That was fun," kind of thing, right? Like, how do you play winning sanctuary or like she didn't get immunity, but still on the winning side of that? How do you? What's your reaction? How do you play it? Do you play it like you've been here before? Like, what do you?
Yeah, I think play it like you've been there before. Um, that's so funny. That reminds me of when I was a youngin, when I was like 11 or something. I played baseball growing up. I was on a club baseball team. We weren't that great, but we got to play at this really cool. I'm just very lucky to live in an area nearby this really, really cool baseball park that has all these parks modeled after actual MLB stadiums. And
Oh,
it's
so there's
like,
like a mini Fenway and
yeah, yes,
right,
yes, there's a Fenway.
right.
Yeah. And I think there's a Yankee Stadium too. Anyways, really cool stuff. And when I played my first game, me and this other kid who had never been on another club team before, we like went out to home plate and we were just like, whoa, this is awesome. And my coach was like, hey, don't you be doing that with the other team watching. Like they're gonna think that we never been here before.
Yeah.
That um
Act like you've been here
and
before.
I was like, hey man, like I'm just admiring the cool stadium. Um to answer Dolores, I am not. I am in Mesa, Arizona. But the stadium I'm talking about is in Gilbert, Arizona. It's called Big League Dreams.
There you go.
Very cool.
I would have liked to see. I just want to see someone like win a challenge and just be like, yeah, and like maybe you can't see me, like just you know, or do the NBA like too small, like to
Yeah.
put the hand just. Yeah, Bruce goes up to them and just puts the hand.
Bruce doing that. Oh my gosh. No, I feel like who I feel like would have done that had they won is Jake. Or if he would have won
You
last
would be,
week. Oh
whoa,
yeah. Sorry.
and then the laugh. It would have been whoa, and then the laugh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point, if anything goes right for Jake, he's just gonna freak out. Cause
Jake, I love Jake. He's like,
no, me too. Me too.
I don't know if it's intentional, unintentional, but he's like seemingly playing into the like goat thing. He's like, I'm gonna be the goofy guy that I say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I've got all this stuff. Take me to the end with you because I'm like putting my foot in my mouth all the time. I'm not like he seems on the edge, but maybe that's his goat play. Like bring me to the end because clearly I'm a goofy guy, right? I'm not like I think
Yeah.
that's so funny.
It's funny because really, I mean, I think at this point Jake might be a goat. It could change. It could, just he could just be brought to the end. But really, it's unfortunate because he was kind of the first person to like see that the Reba 4 needs to be dealt with. He tried
Yeah.
to take a shot at Julie and try to weaken the Reba 4. He even said that was his reasoning. But no, of course, they have to take out Caleb because Bruce had a thing against Caleb and they just followed whatever Bruce said at that point. And then on the other side, they took out Sifu when they clearly should have taken out Drew. And so Jake, I mean, he needs to be avenged at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I'm not like trying to say that Jake is some mastermind player, but because I think he's been playing somewhat poorly in recent
And
episodes,
he
but
he one thing I do like is that he's admitted it. He's
yes,
like, I made a
yes.
mistake there. I took a shot. It was a bad shot. I didn't have anyone with me, and now I'm behind. I'm trying to scramble, and
But his head was in the right place.
his head was in the right place. It was the execution, and he's
Yeah.
trying. Like, he knows though. I think he sees where his position is. That's why he was so surprised with the woe. And he's constantly looking for idols, which again is not winning him any friends, like ingratiating
Um,
him back into the group at all. So he might, I don't know if he's playing it up or not. Like, but it seems like so much
and we see
of
next
trying to
episode.
stand out.
We see next episode. He's. Did you watch the preview for next
Yes.
episode? That confessional from Drew is so funny. He's like, "This guy's acting like the mob boss, dude. You're a goon. You're just a little goon."
We did see on the challenge, on the immunity challenge, Jake going across the balance beam carrying thing, and he was all, and I thought he was going to have another one of his
Mm,
episodes. I was like,
yeah.
oh no, are we going to see that again here? So there's so much with
Like,
Jake,
gosh, I forgot about that again.
yeah, like
I
I
f-
was like, is that a thing? Like, is he going to fall off the like middle of the thing and just faint out and pass out?
oh
Oh,
my
one thing I
gosh.
forgot to mention, we mentioned Julie kind of being left alone with Kendra and Bruce on her team and left, but Austin gives her some protection, and puts the idol in
Mm,
her bag and says, "Look, you are going to be over there, and you are going to be vulnerable if you lose, but here I've got your back."
true.
Big move from Austin. He knows he's
Yeah.
got two. They don't know he's got two yet, do they? I don't think. Do they know that he's got two
No,
fully powered idols?
they do know because he mentions in in a group discussion with the
Oh,
four. He
we've
says,
got. Yep.
"We've got two idols. You know this twist. Hopefully we can navigate through it."
He.
Um,
It should have been the other way. It shouldn't have been an idol. Drew should have given safety without power. You used the weaker thing first. It would have got it out of there if there was any issues with her.
but the safety without power is
It's not
expired.
transferable. Oh, it has. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'm glad I've got Jake here because I'm like,
Yeah,
why
that
don't they
would have
just do
been.
this?
Oh, that would have worked out so perfectly though if it hadn't. Yeah, to just give that
Yeah.
just get out. Just make Bruce and Kendra go after each other. Let them eat their own.
Yeah. It would have been interesting. There's so many different like what ifs that could have happened in this very episode, right? But
Yeah,
what we end up with is coming out of the challenge, the immunity challenge, Austin and Emily Couture lose their voting rights, and they're heading off to the
they're
journey to
felons.
potentially
They've
get it
lost the
back.
right to vote.
There you go. Yeah. Um, Back at camp, we see Jake, Drew, and D, and D and Drew kind of on a little bit of a villain turn here, a bit of a villain arc. We mentioned the Rice thing. What did you think of Drew even says like he's the free agent. We're in a position of power.
Yeah,
Like almost like I heard another podcast mention it, and I know why now. Chris doesn't listen to other Survivor podcasts before he
yeah.
does this because he doesn't want to be influenced and take other people's takes. But I heard one, which really I thought was fascinating, that they were like, "What did you think of this? How this played out?" And someone was like, "Oh, it was obviously entertaining and fun to watch, but I did feel a little bit like Dick vibes. Like it was a bit of a villain turn." And one of them said, "I got real like." I hated seeing it because it just gave me Stanford Prison experiment vibes. Like
Ooh, wow.
I'm in the position of power, right? I'm obviously higher up on the pecking order right now just because of the game. Therefore, you are below me, and it doesn't matter if I treat you worse with the rice. I think that's at the extreme end of that. What do you think of that? How
Wow.
that plays out when there are people literally starving? They are hungry out there, right? They're not getting reward. They're not getting chicken, and the only thing they have is rice. Where do you stand on eating more than your share? And here's
Okay,
a
I don't.
test of Jake's altruism as well. Like, is Jake a good person?
Are we talking about me, Jake, or
You,
him?
yeah.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if Jake really did anything wrong in this episode. Anyways, Stanford Prison Experiment. Wow, didn't think I'd hear a reference to that, in this podcast. Or in the context of Survivor,
Survivor.
I actually don't really see any similarities, because in
Well,
the
well,
Stanford.
Reba right now with the core four being in
Mhm.
charge, especially back at camp in that moment, 2 out of 3, they are the guards, and Jake is the
Yeah,
prisoner, right? Do they
yeah,
abuse that power?
but I think the difference is, like the experiment is to give the guards a task and say your job is to be the guard of this prison.
Yeah,
That's what you do. You
and
do whatever
yeah,
you feel
it's
like
the
you have to,
authority.
and then
Yeah.
they take that and go so extreme and feel like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to start you know beating the prisoners nearly to death because that's just what you do. But I don't know. I feel like that's way out of the scope of this. I think it's just
Tune into the
they.
TNT philosophy
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you guys for tuning in. This is a spin-off podcast where we talk about the philosophy. Yeah, no. I think it was like, but it didn't really seem strategic. I thought that
No, I think it was accidental. Like Drew even said, "Oh, I thought we put some aside for him already." Like,
yes,
and,
yes,
and he was like, "No, we didn't." He's like, "Oh
but
no,"
what
and
I but what yes, that is true, but
yeah,
actually what I meant when I said strategic, I meant like, because you would think like, well, let's give them. Oh wait, I guess that wouldn't work because they just came back from the challenge.
yeah.
I was gonna say give him less food so he's not as energetic for the challenge, but they had just
Oh
come
no,
back
no.
from it, so that wouldn't work.
I think it was just completely accidental. Like, there's more rice there. Like they can cook more.
But also D seemed to like revel in it, you
Yeah,
know?
that's what I said. A little bit of a villain turn. We're seeing some like I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
after they sort of commented on, oh, whoops, we accidentally ate the rice. I saw one of them go like this,
yeah.
and then one of the other ones, for some reason, I don't know where it came from, but was stroking a cat when they talked about it, and I thought that
Just a
was weird
cat
to
just
yeah, that
appeared out of
is
nowhere.
hmm, yeah, gets no rice, but
Yeah, man. They I think that D really enjoyed that.
yeah.
Drew, I don't think really cared that much.
So of course, Bruce winning immunity does sort of throw a spanner in the works as far as flushing his idol. He's protected again, and at this point we go to the sanctuary where we mentioned before maybe one of the worst reward food challenges like we've seen. Like I don't know what they're doing. Last week we saw the reward at sanctuary where they didn't even get to wash off the mud.
Yeah.
Right? They had to dive in, like, couldn't even go in the water, and they were at a beach. They're literally looking at a beach. There's water in front of them,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's producers or they were just so hungry, but they ate covered in mud. And then this one, no utensils, hands with one shared chicken in the middle of the
Did they
three of
wash
them.
their hands? Did they have that opportunity?
I don't know.
Where do
Like,
you even do that? I don't know.
I mean, they're probably doing that a lot throughout the whole process, right? Back at camp,
Yeah.
I don't know how often they're, using hand sanitizer before they eat their rice. But they at least make rudimentary utensils out of sticks and they use leaves as plates and stuff.
Yeah.
That the show themselves, Survivors, like here, and they just sort of chucked it on the table. It was sitting on the table. To me, it looked
Wasn't even on
very,
a plate. I mean, come on.
yeah, it looked very like we use the term, or I use the term. I don't even know if it's a term. It's just one of those things I say in my head. It looked very blonde in that it wasn't that brown yet. It wasn't. It didn't look like
Yes. Yeah.
charcoaly and kind of stuff. And someone mentioned earlier in the chat there was no fixins. Did I say that right? The fixins. There's no fixins at all. No sides. Like just
Yeah.
literally what
Like,
looked
yeah,
like potentially an undercooked chicken sitting on a table.
yeah, people were like, "Man, I hope my Thanksgiving isn't like that. It's not just a turkey just on a table. Give me some mashed potatoes and some freaking stuffing with it. Not
Like
just a
anything, right?
yeah, like was there like even I don't know. Yeah, it's just kind of lame. Like I mean, hey, it's protein. They can't really complain. It's
Yeah.
protein.
It
It's
is. And that's why they
sustenance.
dive in. That's why they
Yeah.
dive in for sure. Um
Hopefully it was seasoned nicely.
that's kind of the best description that fits it. So like
It's just a
technically
dead
that's what it
bird.
is. But when you say it in that combination, it's just a dead bird. It
Yeah,
feels like appropriate, doesn't it?
yeah. Also,
That's
can we talk about Kendra? This is her first time eating chicken in what's she say,
15 years.
15 years?
15
Is she
years.
a vegetarian?
Have to be, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean, anyone that is not a vegetarian, especially women, they eat chicken in like imagine if she's like, I haven't eaten chicken in 15 years. All I eat is steak and elk. Like yeah.
yeah. Like, yeah, nobody just doesn't just chooses not to eat chicken because the only reason you would do that is if you just don't like chicken.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't
I
know.
mean, chicken's the most inoffensive of like if I said turkey was at the bottom, chicken's the most like universal,
Yeah,
right? It's the most sort of no one's like I don't like chicken. People like I don't like red meat. People definitely don't like pork, but chicken. So it was good that they picked chicken. They just kind of made it a bit blah, which for a reward when they're starving out there, and then they did a physical challenge where they were literally shaking. Like we've always seen in the past seasons of Survivor, when they used to have a reward challenge and an immunity challenge, the reward challenge was always given less precedence to the point where that's why I think they combined it because people would end up not necessarily throwing the reward, but not
hmm,
caring as much and conserving energy and not
yeah.
killing themselves for a reward and then losing
Especially
immunity.
especially if the reward challenge like super physically demanding. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
But
just
now we're
wait. Yeah, just
seeing
wasting all my energy.
potentially what looked like not fully physically demanding, like contact and all that sort of thing, but still a difficult challenge, especially at the end with the endurance side and the plates. Kendra and Julie definitely looked like they were going through it. I thought they were going to pee for a second, like the way they were standing there shaking.
Yeah,
um, so you get to that point, and then yeah, the reward is dead bird. But it does give them the opportunity. I think the main reason why they do the reward challenges and things like that is not necessarily just for the reward, but we get to see groups break off and do different strategies and different permutations of people and combinations and stuff. And we see Kendra and Bruce Bello with Julie. What discussions take place here is Kendra lets Julie know that she's worried about, and we said before that Julie's also hinted there's been drops in there about D too powerful relationship with Austin, over walking over some of Julie's decisions. Kendra's now floating it as well. But is Julie Reba strong? She actually counters with Jake, right? Like, and surprisingly, there's two Bella and one Julie. And Bruce immediately goes, "I'm cool with that." What what do you, what do you think of like the numbers right now is 4-4 Bella Reba with Emily in the middle. It's a dead stuck in the middle. They could have either influenced Julie here, or maybe they can say no, we're four stronger and try an Emily move. But immediately, Bruce is like, "Yeah, I'm cool." What What do you think? The take like, what's the thought process there? Is there one?
I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for these guys. It kind of irritates me. Of like, they're just so fast to just give up one of their own.
Yeah,
You know?
with potentially catastrophic outcome for their own game, right? Like the
Yeah. If you,
repercussions down the road.
yeah, like
Are they not
if
looking one step ahead?
yeah, like I don't know. I don't know because listen, I get it for Jake. Jake is like truly feels like
He's at the bottom. He's going.
I just need to get past
Yeah.
one more, you know. So I understand for him, but with Bruce, it's like,
He's
dude, you
got
have
immunity
immunity,
and an
immunity,
idol.
and idol,
And an
and
idol.
and idol. So just suck it up, work with people that maybe you don't really like that much, and try to further yourself in this.
Kendra then ends up sort of backing down because Bruce immediately said sure. So Kendra's like, well, it's not me, right? Dun dun dun. But
Yeah,
she took the anyone but me kind of thing. She gave up the ghost as well. So did not fight it, did not push back on Julie. Julie, the minority in this trio, running over them with the suggestion and absolutely able to just get them on side. One through no, just Bruce completely acquiescing, and then Kendra realizing Bruce again hard to work with. Don't know what to get out of Bruce, like whatever, but and then has to sort of give that up as well, which is really fascinating the way that played out. Then we go to the journey. Austin, Katura, and Emily have to do a math puzzle. The chat already discussed the math puzzle earlier. Some people saying Tom was saying it's way too easy, but
Clearly
didn't turn
not.
out to be that easy. Like, I thought this was really. What did you think of doing a math puzzle to get your vote back?
Just dumb.
Was it even good TV? Is seeing people at a
No,
board writing with chalk and trying to figure out, is that like,
no.
that's not even a visually appealing challenge either. Like, if they actually did something, I don't know, but just doing a math problem. And then we get like, I guess the only thing that kind of made it interesting is that we get the confessional from Emily where it's, I know I'm a financial analyst or whatever, but I can't do mental maths, quick mental maths. Like, okay, that's the contrast there is kind of cool. Katura being a
Lawyer.
lawyer, but kind of choking and looking like a deer in the headlights, and yeah. Well, I mean, my assumption of lawyers is that they can sort of think on the fly. They're usually in pressure situations in front of people. Public speaking is like the second biggest fear in the world, apparently, and they do that on a regular basis, right? So that's
Mhm.
pressure there. You've literally playing with. She's a civil rights lawyer, so the stakes for her are like, you know, big. Like the stuff that she deals with is affecting people's lives. It's not, small courts claims.
Yeah.
And then she gets to a puzzle and kind of cracks. And then we get like the opposite, where what you would think the stereotypical financial analyst can't do mental math, what you think of a stereotypical lawyer kind of cracked under pressure. And then they go, oh, the Asian MBA students amazing at maths.
Yeah, I know. The assumption doesn't actually ends up happening. Yeah.
So yeah, and we get
What
Austin.
do we know what he's doing in school?
No, I didn't even know it was an MBA, right? Like I think at the start of the show it just said student or something.
Yeah.
But to be doing a master's, he's obviously a very smart dude. And he said,
Yeah.
I don't come off. And I'm like, you're right, dude. You didn't come off as a regular master's, like MBA student, right? He
Yeah.
he said, I have the surfy kind of brawny vibe. I was like, you're nailing that, dude. That's his thing. He
Yeah.
like wanted to take revenge for food for like 3 episodes. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't really shown that in this episode. We're seeing some stuff from Austin, which I felt really good about because first of all, going back, we mentioned the Emily coming to him and Drew, and he wanting to protect Dee, but I think he did it in a pretty good way. Emily saw through it, but by saying Dee is a threat, you're right. She is very much a threat, and doesn't. We don't want to sit with her to the final three, but because she is that, it's probably good to keep her around for a couple more tribals, right? Pretty smart. Then
Mhm.
giving the I think it was the best way he could have placated Emily. I don't see another way unless full on saying, yeah, sure, let's go for D, and then backstabbing, which wouldn't have been fun. And then he also backed it up by giving Julie one of his two idols. And then we see him killing a math problem. Austin really coming up big in a little bit there. You reckon?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still just kind of running it right now.
It's okay.
You heard that? Wow. She said that really quietly.
Uh,
It's all yeah. She's trying to get the Christmas tree up right now. She's getting all the Christmas stuff out now that Thanksgiving's done.
is that a Black Friday tradition? Day after Thanksgiving, where we're straight in.
Seems to be a very common thing for Americans is like day after Thanksgiving, boom, Christmas time. Put all the Christmas stuff up. People even start before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving, I grew up not necessarily having a hard and fixed day. We just sort of did it when we got around to it. But my wife and the tradition I've now set for my family is December 1. It's like the 1st of
Yeah,
December.
that
That's
seems
Christmas period. Yeah, so that's kind of an easy line in the sand there.
yeah. Quick question: is it
Dolores,
always
is it
weird?
quick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, quick question: is it always weird because in Australia it's summer right now, right?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
is.
always
Yeah.
weird? Is it always weird, like all the Christmas, like, well, maybe you watch like you don't really watch American Christmas movies, but like, is it weird to see like we associate Christmas with like snow and stuff, and you guys are like, that's just not how it is. Is
Yeah.
that kind
I
of
mean,
because
okay.
I just can't imagine like it being like Christmas time, but it's like
Are you
hot out.
Arizona?
Yeah, but like our Decembers are like super nice. It's been
That's
like
what
the
it's what it's like here. Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, our summers are like your summer, I guess. But you're not
oh
living. You're not living a white Christmas. You're not
no
like sleigh
no
bells aren't ringing for you.
no yeah no I guess we don't have snow here, but it's at least like really nice out.
Yeah, it does get very hot, but I guess like our idea of Christmas is not gathering around a table and eating like warm food that's very comforting with a fire raging and all that. We're out in the backyard having a barbecue with it is family, and this year like we'll have the jumping castle out with the water slide, and my kids will be in there, swimmers, and
Yeah,
it's a 4th of July, but for Christmas.
interesting.
So our celebration is our summer big celebration where it's you're out and about, everyone's in shorts and thongs, flip flops.
I know. Yeah, I know.
For everyone in Australia, we don't get around in G strings like just
Yeah.
for Christmas. It's not, but yeah, like it is. It's a little bit more. Yeah, our
Is
Christmas is
it
normally a barbecue in the sun. Like there you go.
yeah.
So when you say barbecue, being in Florida again, I'm geography of America. Is your barbecue like Southern Texas, Kansas City barbecue? Smoked, or do you like when we say barbecue we mean like what Americans would think, throw another shrimp on the barbie? We're grilling. We don't call it grilling, it's barbecuing. Barbecue to us is not smoking for 12 hours,
Uh,
it's the grill, or it's the event
Um
itself.
it's either like barbecue here, at least to us, my family, it's just like grilling. Yeah. Kind of similar. But I feel like to some people, if like
Candles, yeah.
if you're not smoking, if you're not smoking some baby back ribs, then are you even having a barbecue? That's some people are weird about barbecue, but
Yeah, we don't get season either in Florida.
I think that's how
That's
cold it
perfect,
is.
right?
That's
Isn't that good? Like California is
that's
always the same weather.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's no, not California's not always the same. Well, San Francisco. San Francisco is like the entire year is like 60 degrees, like the entire year. It doesn't change. But I'll tell you, my girlfriend actually lived in Florida for 6 months last year, and I visited her in December, and it was like in the 80s. It was like 80 degrees, and I was like, "What is going on here?" But I think Dolores is in Miami, but so maybe it's nicer down there. But in
Potentially
Orlando, ugh,
gets bad.
yeah,
um Kiwi Skirt said jandals. For people who don't know, that's what flip flops are called in New Zealand. So we've got thongs, you've got flip flops,
jandals.
they've got jandals. Yeah, I love that. They also call. Here's some education. I don't know why we're doing this, but in America you have a cooler, right? At Christmas for us, summer, a cooler is a big thing. We call them eskies, and in New Zealand they
You're
call them.
just making up words.
It's a brand name. It's the
Oh,
brand is
okay.
so dominant it becomes the name
Oh,
for
I
the
see.
the
Okay.
actual item. And then in New Zealand, this is the best name ever. You imagine a cooler, right? It's similar. A cooler cools, right? It's also a thing that you put things in, like a receptacle where it makes things chilled or cool.
Mhm.
They call it in New Zealand. I love this. It's a chili bin. It's a bin you put things in that chills it. It's a chili bin.
There you
But you
go.
have to say it with the Kiwi accent, makes it even better because it's a chiller bin. A chiller bin. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. Look, first of all, chat, I want to apologize, and to you, Jake. I'm hosting, so we have gone long already, and we haven't got to tribal because Chris runs a tight ship, and he probably won't let me do it again. But we are talking about Thanksgiving. We're talking about Stanford prison experiments. We're talking about um, thongs. Like, there's so much going on except for Survivor. So I apologize. Let's bring it back on track. But I do enjoy discussing this stuff with you, Jake, and everyone in chat. I think it's fun. Hopefully you do too. Um, so we've gone from Sanctuary. We've got D, Drew, Jake. D and Drew are pushing for Kendra because D again, maybe building on that villain vibe that we mentioned. She's got the whole thing of like what Yam Yam was saying last season. He voted for me. He's gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's
Hmm.
got that. If you take a shot at me, I'm taking you out. There's that vibe to it.
Yeah.
With Kendra, so much so that she wants to override Julie's same thing for Jake. She said Jake voted for me. I want to get Jake.
Yeah. Kendra only
Right?
talked about voting for D.
Yeah.
Jake actually put pen to paper and did vote
Yeah.
for her.
That's right. So like, but D does not like she's very forceful. It's like she's getting her
Yeah.
way. And is that a good sign or is that a bad sign for my girl D and her toes?
Hmm. I mean, she got her way, didn't she?
She did. Yeah, but I'm saying like is she being like we've already seen multiple instances where people are talking about her threat level. And when you
Yeah.
show how much influence you have to get votes constantly go your way and you basically get what you want, is that building the threat level or is that solidifying that no, our bond is so strong that I do have them on my side? Like, at what point does that break? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if D is the one. Maybe they will actually go after her if there is sort of a rebellion growing
Mm.
amongst Emily and the others. But
Well,
I
as
don't know.
far as the Reba core four go, being inoffensive, right, and not standing out, are Austin and Drew a potential threat vote from Bello before a D?
Perhaps Drew,
Drew should be, right?
Because Emily knows that they have an idol.
Yeah, but that's true. They need, yeah, if Emily does decide to flip, hmm. We come to tribal council, and as I said at the start of the episode, just because of the way the loss votes turn out, Katura does not have a vote. Emily does not have a vote. No one knows who lost or whatever. Austin actually lies about it at some point. What's the approach there if you go to the journey, you potentially lose your vote, but you keep it? Do you tell them you've lost it? Do you tell them you keep it? Like, what's the stance there?
It definitely depends on the context. Um, with Austin in the context of like make them believe that Reba does not have the sole power to choose their victim. You know, because that's
Is that the way to do it?
I
Or
believe
do you
so.
show the power? You're
Mm,
not so that a Katura or something like you got to jump on board with us. You're
maybe
you're losing this. We've
that's a
got
good
four.
point.
We've got
Yeah.
four. Don't throw votes against us. Do what we want because I don't know. Like it's just
That is a good question. I do think it worked out the way that Austin thought it would. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe it didn't really because they just ended up
yeah.
hopping on the bandwagon
That's
anyways.
what it.
But
Well, at some point, right? Like you have to. I hope this is what it is, rather than just completely like melting and caving to the other team. But I hope they go. I see the writing on the wall for tonight. I'm not going to be a Jake against Julie and try to save Caleb, right? I'm not going to put myself out there when I know
that's
it's
true.
not going to happen. We haven't got the numbers. I can't pull it. So I might as well not be the target. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, this is very smart by Austin. But now that I'm now that you're bringing this up, I actually don't know if it was necessarily the right way to go about it. I do think his mindset was not crazy of like, make them feel more safe than they actually are. Make them think that they can force a 3-3, but that didn't even really come up. They caved.
Oh, this is interesting. From Chris, Austin made a comment that he told his Reba alliance that he goes vote back. They all knew, but not Emily, so she's definitely at the bottom of that alliance. It's not even
Oh, I didn't
a
realize.
question now. Kiwi
Yeah.
Skirt said, "I think Emily will switch, and am looking forward to it." But is it too late now? Because if she switches,
Oh,
she still goes to 4. Like it's still, if she switches, it's 4-4, right?
well, if anything, but she couldn't have done it this past episode. She didn't
Because
have
of
a
no
vote.
vote. But again, it shows like at 9 and 7, 9 and 7, right, is when fireworks really happen. Like
Yeah.
flips and starting to realize we're getting close to the end. Do I want to sit next to a D because she is so good? That's when things can really get interesting at the 9 and the 7
If
vote,
anything, it's
and
if
Survivor
anything,
took it
it would be
away
one. If anything, it would be one too early.
at 9. Or
Well, let's see. No,
I'm
no,
just
I'm not doing
disappointed
math
that
right. I'm not doing the math right.
again they
Um,
took away the chance for the players to play, right?
this
There
could
could
have
have been
been.
something
This
here. It
could have
could
been
have
the
been
moment.
something.
Yeah, yeah. If everybody had their vote, Emily wouldn't even because now I think Emily has to get Julie.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they would have let everybody have their vote, then it could have been 5. The Reba 4 on in the minority, and then the 5 rest of them with Emily
Yeah, if Emily
voting for
led
one of
that
them.
charge and gathered Bella and said, "Okay, Bella, let's," you know,
Honestly, I'm not even sure I have faith in Bello that they would have
well,
gone along with
clearly,
that. They would have been like, "Are you sure we should vote out Jake instead? Are you
yeah.
sure?" And
she
Emily's like,
she comes to them with the
"I'm
plan. She's like,
trying to flip the
I'm
game."
flipping. I'm
Yeah,
coming to you," and he's like, "What about Jake though?"
yeah. My gosh.
Just
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not even sure if I would have faith in Bello in that scenario.
Is Reba showing like in games like Survivor and the modern era with the sixes, like the small tribes and very small small, the numbers have to be even tighter. Where before it used to be, if your alliance is too big, there are obviously people at the bottom of that. And if your alliance is too small, you haven't got enough power to actually influence the game. You're always in the minority. What is the number? And I feel like we saw last season with I forget the name of the tribe now, but with Yam Yam, Carolyn, and Carson, the trio,
The
that three,
Tika
The
3.
Tika, yeah, the Tika three ended up being a very strong number for them. Even when they got separated, they were
They
still there.
never they
But
never had the numbers until the
they never
final
had the
five.
numbers.
Until the
But
final
the core
five.
four, adding that one extra, we've got four now.
Then it's like, yeah, and
With
I
an Emily as a fringe,
yeah,
right? But the core four and then plus, it seems like a pretty good number to have with you, isn't it?
it does, but
If you can
unfortunately,
stay core.
yes. Honestly, I think 4 is a
Yeah.
great number for this sort of alliance, but
The only problem with four
unfortunately
is that,
is yeah, there's one that's,
yeah.
and I think Julie is starting to realize that, it's like they take the 2 at the top, Austin and Drew are taking D as a priority over her.
So when does see the problem with that is what I've always found, if you are at the bottom of your alliance and you recognize I'm fourth out of four, right? I need to make a move. I go to the other side. I'm now fifth out of four, out of five. You know what I mean? Like if you
That's why
make
you
your
have
move,
to throughout the game you have to keep relationships with everybody and
it's such a shitty
potentially
game.
keep a working relationship with everybody and hope that you won't be just number 5 because, and I think this is a very, very good situation for somebody like Emily or Julie because they have no structure on the bottom. There is no hierarchy within those. They're not really an alliance. It's Jake, Bruce, and Katura. They don't. They're not an
Yeah, they
alliance,
don't even like
So
each other.
so you're
Couture
not
doesn't
really
even
gonna.
like him.
They're not gonna be on the bottom of that group. You know what I mean? Like they.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just
true.
in. You're just
Julie's got
like
a chance there.
you're just like in the group. You know.
If Julie went to Katura, teamed up with them, flipped on D, and then said, "Hey, how about we take out Bruce now?" Do you think Katura would be like, "Hey, Bruce, Julie wants you out. Let's take out Julie," or would Katura go, "Yes,
She would
yes,
just say yes.
Bruce"?
She would just say yes. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm so curious to see what happens because honestly, yeah, I think Bruce might be in a good spot in terms of like because I think we both agree next episode could be kind of a turning point for the people on
Emily
the
looks
bottom.
to maybe disrupt
Yeah.
the
And so,
Reaver
but then
Alliance.
it's funny because yeah, Bruce has an idol, so like it's like they're just like letting this guy who is good at challenges, clearly, who has an idol, they're letting him go even further. Um, I mean, I don't think that at this point Bruce is really a threat to win, but he
Yeah.
could disrupt some. He could
Does
take somebody
does
else's
he have a
spot in
path?
the final
Does he have
three.
a path at all? Most of the people on
Oh
Bello,
man.
most of the people on the jury are probably going to be Bello,
Well,
right? But
I'll tell
again,
you
is
what.
Bello strong?
In fact, having less Bello on the jury is probably a good
Probably
thing.
better for him.
Well, I'll tell you what. As of now, the 3 people on the jury so far are not voting for Bruce.
Caleb, Kelly,
Caleb, Kelly, and
Kendra. Yeah.
they're not voting for him. Zero
Is Kelly
chance.
still pissed off at him
He is
in a
going to
couple more
have
win
to.
episodes?
He is going to have to really work his ass off to impress the rest of the jury from henceforth. He's gonna,
Yeah.
the Reba 4. I don't think they have a very high opinion of him. Oh, and Katura's never voted for him in any scenario. So
Well,
he's gonna
yeah.
have to if he wants
Katura's
to.
blind to anything that she could need Bruce
Yeah.
for and only cares about getting rid of him.
Yes.
Absolutely, Kiwi. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She I don't think she really grasps like maybe I could use this guy as a number.
So what ended up being quite, as far as in this season goes, I was still entertained, but I was left a little bit disappointed with the production putting their thumb on the scale once again, and the way the vote ended up playing out was just completely generic. Like all
Yeah.
votes going to Kendra, no chance of changing, no chance of, blindsides or anything there, just because of the way the numbers played out due to luck. Which luck is part of the game. It's just there was the opportunity there, so that's a little bit disappointing. But the fact that we've got so much to actually discuss was that not only just production, but what is the move there? Like, it's so fascinating, the contrast between we've got 4 Reba, 4 Bello, Emily in the middle, and what we see is Reba literally calling themselves the core 4, showing how strong they are together, and then Bello just so unattached to each other at all, like across the board. There's no loyalty at all, and having those two on the opposite ends of the spectrum with Emily in the middle, like Emily has a chance to really break into that. There is no Bello Strong. It's just 4 separate people. Um, really interesting contrast to the
And
dynamic there.
also, I think one interesting thing that I don't think was brought up in the episode, but might have been, in the mind of Kendra, is remember Kendra was quite blindsided by Emily when she voted out Brando
Yeah.
when they were swapped. So maybe Kendra was completely like that was a real blind spot for her of like, oh, maybe I could work with Emily. But in her mind, she's like, she betrayed me once. I'm done. I'm done with that. You know, I don't know, but she's out now, and I think that they need Emily. So something's
Yeah.
got to give. Something's got to give with those guys, or maybe something will
Mm.
just, or maybe they'll just continue. Just, oh, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. They just had the numbers so easily, and they were willing to vote out Jake. They were willing to vote out um,
Yeah.
Kendra. now. I mean, it's just crazy. It's
But not
crazy.
even like,
And they had Caleb on their side too.
yeah, like there wasn't even any arm twisting. It's not like,
No.
oh, I'm umming and ahhing, but like just like that. Just so yeah, sure, Jack. Okay, like immediately, like
Yeah,
it's like they've
and
been playing from the bottom when they still had numbers, and it's just because there was no relationship between them. There's just nothing that's keeping them together, even self-interest, even
no.
like the game, which interesting dynamics. So we do end the episode. Kendra says goodbye. We say goodbye to Tomac's favorite player ever in history. I'll miss the facial reactions. I'll miss the like that was kind of what made Carolyn so great last year, was the wildness.
Hmm.
And Kendra definitely had it dialed down in comparison to, but you see some of the stuff she couldn't control.
Yeah.
So we'll lose Kendra for that. Do you At this point, Kendra's out. There's 8 players left. We've got the 4 core in Reba. We've got the 3 former Bellows. I'm not even saying that they are Bello. They're just 3 people with
Yeah.
Emily.
There's three
We
people that just happen to be on the same starting tribe.
yeah, we see in the previews for next week that Emily's dropping hints that she wants to break up the Reba Alliance, which is a good thing to see. One thing that I will praise the season for is we are episode 9 through of 12, and I still have no idea who the winner is. There's no clear winner, right? In
No,
fact,
I don't think
many
so.
of them seem like they could have a path. Who doesn't have a path to winning at the moment?
Bruce.
I can't see Katura winning.
Honestly, Katora. Yeah, I was going to say her too.
I can't see
Um,
Katura winning.
honestly, it's getting worse and worse for Jake as well. I just
Yeah.
don't think the people really like him.
Does Emily still have a shot?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if she makes a move here and is able to, like, if she makes this next move and then is able to make it to the end. I honestly think if she's with the right people, that alone will get her the win.
And when you consider her start in this game, as far as the people side of it, the relations and how she rubbed people the wrong way a lot,
That makes her
and
case
she's
even better, I think.
yeah, and the fact that she's completely 180'd that, right? Now she seems like the one that gets along the most with people across the board almost, right? Because she doesn't have the inbuilt tribal divide. Like I'm not the rival gang, like,
Hmm.
but she's really turned that around. So there's a chance that whoever is on that jury are voting for her, right? She's got Caleb. And then Kelly was backstabbed by everyone else. So is she going to be at? She's probably in. I know Emily voted for her as well, but she probably would have been not the target of, like when you go, oh, they voted me out. You don't think every single person. You just think D is the ringleader
Hmm.
or whoever it is, right? Who's the avatar for that vote for Kelly?
Yeah,
Kendra here again. Probably not going to be Emily. I don't know. Like Emily could have votes here. It's interesting.
I definitely think Emily could win, which is a crazy thing to say. You know, after when if you just look at the beginning of the game, I mean, it's night and day. It's crazy.
Interesting times. But that does bring us to the end of another episode of Survivor. Jake, thank you, sir. A great discussion. Again, we went long. I apologize, but I hope people are enjoying their Thanksgiving weekend. It's Black Friday evening in the States. Why not hang out and have a chat, eh?
Exactly.
So thank you to everyone in the chat. We love having you as always. Please make sure you subscribe. I don't know how to do that thing that Chris always does. Where's the scrolling subscribe banner? Just at the bottom, if
Just
we
pretend that it's there.
just pretend that it's there. I don't know where that button is that Chris always hits with that. But yeah, please subscribe if you. Oh, here it is. Let me look at this, mate.
Boom.
I'm
So
a pro.
professional.
Please subscribe now. Coming up on the Nullified Take channel later on today. So a good 4 hours from now. I don't know what time is that going to be over there. Eastern time. I think it's like 11 p.m. maybe. in Florida,
Yeah,
Dolores.
yeah.
Um, I am doing Squid Game. Squid Game, the challenge, the reality show Squid Game. We're doing the first 5 episodes today. And then it'll be another 5 episodes next week, and then the final episode the week after. But 4 episodes and then another one. But yeah, Squid Game coming up later on today. The challenge, Chris and I think are we going to record that tomorrow. I don't know if we'll be live, but we obviously have stuff coming up on the Nullified Take all the time. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great holiday weekend. Everyone take care. Jake, we'll catch you next week.
Same time.
There you go, 11:30 p.m. East Coast, Dolores. There you go. I'm looking forward to your views on Squid Game as well. But yeah, same time next week. We'll do it
Let's
all
do
again.
it.
I'm pretty sure Chris will be
Let's
back.
do it.
But
Oh,
yeah.
great.
Does Chris talk about Stanford prison experiments?
Well, that's a good. Yeah, yeah. That's why I groaned. Like I want to just talk about Thanksgiving and the differences between the climates in Australia and America.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the show. Are you kidding me? He's gonna have us on a leash.
But yeah, Chris will be back, and we're all looking forward to that. But thank you, everyone in the chat. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. But what does he say?
Grab your
grab
torches.
your torches.
Head back to camp.
There you go,
See you
Jake.
next
Thank
time.
you. See ya.